Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you breaks every rule you were taught in school. We are led to believe that to build a tech empire, you must be a genius coder sitting in a garage in Silicon Valley, typing furiously into the night. We are told you need millions in venture capital to even start. But the truth is much darker and incredibly more brilliant. The most powerful people in the modern economy do not build the product. They do not write the code. They do not even use their own money. They act as the invisible bridge. They master the art of service arbitrage and capital appropriation. Today, we are going to deconstruct the psychology of the middleman. We are going to look at how a 25-year-old girl with zero technical skills and zero capital manipulated the global talent market, legally held millions of dollars in her personal accounts, and built a multinational tech firm. If you're tired of trading your hours for a stagnant salary, hit the subscribe button right now. We are decoding the blueprints of the 1%. Meet Elena. The year is 2021. Elena was living in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn, New York, working as a barista in the financial district. Every day, she served $7 lattes to corporate executives. She wasn't wealthy, but she was a predator of information. She listened. She noticed a recurring theme in the conversations of these wealthy executives. Their companies desperately needed to integrate artificial intelligence, but finding and managing reliable tech talent was a nightmare. The demand was massive. The supply was chaotic. Elena saw the gap. She didn't learn how to code. Learning to code takes years. Instead, she decided to master the flow of capital. She created an illusion. She spent $50 to register an LLC and buy a sleek, high-end domain name, Nexus AI Solutions. She set up a virtual office address in a prestigious Manhattan skyscraper. To the outside world, Nexus AI was a premier boutique software agency catering to elite logistics and financial firms. In reality, Nexus AI was just a girl in a Brooklyn apartment with a laptop and an empty bank account. Now, the hunt began. Elena used LinkedIn to meticulously target mid-sized logistics companies. She didn't pitch them software. She pitched them operational dominance. After weeks of cold emails, she secured a virtual meeting with the vice president of a national trucking company. They needed an AI-driven routing system to cut fuel costs. Elena sat in her bedroom, blurred her background, and projected absolute authority. She quoted them $400,000 for the custom software. But here's the golden rule of capital appropriation. You never start the work without the capital. Elena stated her terms clearly. Our firm requires a 50% upfront deposit to allocate our senior engineering team. The logistics company, desperate for the solution and convinced by her polished facade, agreed. 2 days later, $200,000 was wired into Elena's newly opened business account. Pause and let that sink in. Elena now has $200,000 of cold, hard cash. But she doesn't know how to write a single line of code. She is officially playing the game of other people's money. This brings us to the second pillar of her empire: global arbitrage. Elena knew that a developer in San Francisco costs $200,000 a year, but a brilliant developer in Eastern Europe costs a fraction of that, with the exact same skill level. Elena went on global freelance platforms and found a highly talented but severely underfunded development agency in Warsaw, Poland. They were technical geniuses, but terrible at marketing themselves. Elena approached the Polish agency not as a freelancer, but as a wealthy American corporate client. She presented the logistics software project. The Polish team analyzed the requirements and quoted her $80,000 for the entire build. Elena agreed, but on one condition. "I will pay you 25% upfront to begin, and the remaining 75% upon final delivery." The Polish agency, thrilled to get an American contract, signed immediately. Let us look at Elena's balance sheet right now. She collected $200,000 from the American client. She paid $20,000 to the Polish developers. She is now holding $180,000 in pure cash. This is the float. She has practically created a massive, interest-free loan for herself just by connecting two dots on a map. If you think Elena is a brilliant strategist, drop a genius in the comments right now. If you think what she is doing is too risky, comment risky. I want to know your psychological risk tolerance. Go ahead, pause the video, and drop your comment. I am reading every single one. Most people would take that $180,000 and buy designer clothes, or take a vacation to Dubai. But Elena was building a machine. She took the floated cash and pumped it directly into B2B advertising. She hired professional copywriters, ran expensive LinkedIn ad campaigns, and hired a remote sales team on commission. Because her marketing budget was funded entirely by her first client, she had an unfair advantage over every other agency. Within 6 months, the machine caught fire. Nexus AI landed 4 more massive corporate contracts. Her Polish development team was working around the clock, and she began outsourcing to 2 more agencies in Romania and Ukraine. By the end of the year, Elena was managing a float of over $1.5 million. She was holding cash that belonged to her American clients, while her European developers worked on delayed payment terms. She was the master of the middle. But remember, the bigger the float, the harder the crash. The illusion is only profitable as long as the delivery is real. It was a cold morning in November. Elena received a frantic email from her lead developer in Warsaw. The parent company that owned the Polish agency had quietly filed for bankruptcy due to massive local tax debts. The Polish government had stepped in. They froze the company's bank accounts and seized the office building. The servers were locked. The code was trapped. Elena's heart stopped. She had 3 massive software deliveries due to her American corporate clients in less than 30 days. She had already collected over $800,000 in deposits from these clients. If she failed to deliver, it wasn't just a lost contract. It was corporate fraud. The American companies would unleash a legion of lawyers, sue her into oblivion, and she would face serious prison time. The bridge she built was collapsing under her feet. This is the exact moment where the amateur folds and the master evolves. Take a second right now. Put yourself in Elena's position. The government has locked your developers out. Your American clients are demanding their software. You have over $1 million of the float sitting in your bank account. What is your next move? Tell me in the comments. There is a hidden clue about her strategy earlier in the video. Let's see who catches it first. Elena did not run. She understood that capital is the ultimate skeleton key. She didn't try to hire a new team in America to rewrite the code. There was no time. Instead, she took her laptop, her passport, and her $1.5 million float and boarded a direct flight to Warsaw, Poland. She didn't go to the bankrupt agency's CEO. She went directly to the liquidators and the 15 developers who were standing on the street, locked out of their jobs, terrified about their unpaid salaries. Elena rented a conference room in a luxury hotel in Warsaw and invited the entire engineering team. She stood before them, not as an invisible middleman, but as a savior. She said, "Your company has failed you, but I will not. I am opening a new, independent Polish subsidiary of Nexus AI today. I will pay off the legal fees to release our specific servers from the liquidators. And if you sign exclusive employment contracts with my company right now, I will double your previous salaries and pay you a signing bonus in cash." The developers were stunned. They signed immediately. Elena used a fraction of her massive float to pay the government liquidator a settlement to release the proprietary intellectual property. She secured a new premium office space in Warsaw for her new employees. Within 1 week, the team was back online. 30 days later, Nexus A1 delivered flawless software to the American corporations. The clients were ecstatic, completely unaware of the geopolitical nightmare that had just occurred. They wired the final payments, injecting another $1 million into Elena's accounts. Elena pulled off one of the greatest maneuvers in modern business. She used a crisis to eliminate the middleman below her. She transitioned from being an arbitrageur to being the direct owner of a global tech infrastructure. She started by using other people's money to build a ghost agency and ended up using that exact same money to buy a real one. Today, Nexus A1 is a legitimate tech powerhouse valued at over $30 million. Elena, the former barista, now oversees a global team of 60 engineers. She never learned how to code. She learned how to command the current of capital. This is the secret the elite do not want you to know. The economy does not reward the hardest worker. It rewards the person who positions themselves at the intersection of supply and demand. It rewards the individual who understands that you do not need to own the water to profit from the river. You just need to own the dam. Whether you are in software, physical products, or real estate, the formula remains the same. Secure the commitment. Appropriate the capital up front. Leverage global arbitrage to fulfill the promise. And use the float to dominate your market. If this psychological breakdown of capital appropriation changed your perspective on wealth, hit the like button. Send this video to someone who is grinding away at a job, waiting for permission to build their empire. They need to understand that the gates are wide open. You just need to know how to walk through them. Subscribe to Capital Chronicles for more untold blueprints of the 1%. Stop waiting for money and start commanding it. I will see you at the top.